Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Wednesday, the 27th of August. So, what are we talking about today? Well, I don't know if this is something that you can relate to or not in your shop, but for us, when is the best time to start doing a push to get things lined up for the winter months? Because I'll be honest with you, it gets slow at our shop. So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Wednesday, the 27th of August, 2025. So, what are we talking about today when it comes to lining up work? There's never a bad time to line up work. But for us, what I find is if I do it too early, a lot of my customers either forget about it or need to be reminded, or they've decided to do something else instead of working on their tractor. So this month is the month that I push, and I've already got a Ford 4000 coming in for a front to back carburetor work, hydraulic leaks, do the once over, get it ready for paint in the spring. I've got a mini excavator coming in that looks like it may need a head gasket, but it's not a 5 minute job. Most of them you have to pull the engines out. I've got another tractor I'm talking to a guy on this morning that's got a radiator, water pump. And what I end up doing is I use Facebook a lot to get word out. And I also let customers know and people that are looking to have work done that I do it at a reduced rate if they're willing to do it during the winter months when there's not a big push. In other words, drop it off in the fall and we'll get it back to you by spring. That's what I mean by a push. Not drop it off today and then want it tomorrow. We just don't work that way for the winter months. We kind of go from one project to the next, and then when the parts come in for the first, go back to the first, get that done. And a lot of times with this stuff that we do, you fix one thing and you find three others, right? That's good and bad. I mean, for the customer, it's going to cost them more, but for the shop, it gets you more money if he's willing or she is willing to have it done. But right now is when I'm doing my push, and we knock off 10% off our hourly rate just for the winter months jobs. Because I'm not sure about in your neck of the woods, but us, I mean, we have winter, but it's been pretty mild. Last year we had a couple days that dumped pretty good, but we don't see a lot of snowblowers. We may see a few in the fall for a service, but most people are doing their own. I mean, all you gotta do is just change the oil, grease it, and put gas in it, right? So we don't hardly ever see them unless something is broke. And they can't get broke unless they're used. And if they're not used that much, they're not getting broke. So it's one of those deals where if you're sitting there waiting for work, you could be doing something else like trying to get more work into the shop. Word of mouth is also a great way to get word out. And that is your regular customers that do work with you on the winter months already know that that's the way you do things and are telling other people if you can be willing to wait until fall through till spring, these boys will give you a discount and do quality work. That's what we want to get word out about is we're doing quality work. We don't want to be in a big push, and they get a discount compared to if they asked us right now to bring it into the shop today. There's no discount. We're still stacked outside the shop. We just brought a John Deere in with a shifting issue, shifting forks. We've got an International 404 with electrical issues, ignition issues. We've got my two John Deeres. We've got Cub Cadet that's got to have a service done on it and a new drive belt. We used to see that every year, but we didn't see it the past 2 seasons because it's been going good. Now his drive belt went. Now he wants a service done on it. So we have that. We've got another John Deere tractor with hydraulic issues that isn't mine. I think we pretty much figured out what it is with that sump thing. Filter. But what are ways you guys are staying busy through the winter months? I mean, I also take on projects where I'll buy something and go through it and then flip it in the spring, so I'm making money on like buying a lawnmower right now, a rider or a push for a little bit of nothing and putting some money into it and having it ready to go in the spring because you're going to have to sit on it. Nobody's going to be buying lawnmowers this time of year. We've also got a Cub Cadet with the new style computer and throttle system where you dial it up and dial it down. But he blew a head gasket. He ruined the head and the jug. We fixed that twice. He'll let it go until it gets too far. And right now I've got it's a Toro engine that we're going to take out. We already took both the engines out. We were hoping, because they're both Briggs, we were hoping to match up the computer system and the throttling system and everything, but we couldn't because they're built differently. So we're going to have to build on his dash a place to put a throttle instead of having it electronic. It's going to be old school, out the door. I am going to start doing more repair videos. I got to get the shop cleaned up. This kind of looks like hell. That's for you, Mark. And like Jason, you were saying that if you're a really good mechanic, your yard will be full. And I think that's true to a certain extent, depending upon where you're at. But I consider Claude to be an exceptional mechanic, and we do good work. He does good work. But I don't know how many times I've been told we didn't even know you existed or were even here, So being the best at what you are and doing quality work doesn't always get you the extra work that you're looking for so that you're staying busy for the 8 or 10 hours a day that you're working. How do you combat that? Well, Facebook is one. Everybody's on Facebook, or they know somebody that's on Facebook if they're not on Facebook themselves. But most people that are under 70 have a Facebook account by now. And that's where they like to find their information per se, is through the social media things. And so that's where I'm part of a number of groups that are local, for garage sales and, ATV sales and this and that. I belong to certain groups that are in my location area on Facebook. And I asked prior to doing it, but usually about once a month I'll put out a post. And I try to make it a funny one, right? And then like in August, I put out 2 posts already, and it's bringing work in of we're filling the calendar for, late October through till February, March. Trying to get that filled in. We're not looking to go full time for a full 8 hours. Half days are fine. Claude's on Social Security anyways. Just enough to keep us busy. Because if we're not busy, then we're not bringing enough money into the shop. And I'll be honest with you, during the winter months, I'm looking for extra money to cover the heat, the electric, the phone, and internet. If I can get that, I'm okay with it after we get all said and done. If there's enough work there to do full days, we'll do full days. That's the way we've done it for the last 7 years. There some years we've stayed full time year round. And other years we've dropped back on the hours to part-time because there just wasn't enough work in the shop. If we went to a full day, we would knock out most of the stuff that was here, and then crickets. There'd be nothing. You'd be waiting for something else. By dropping to half days, it's helped us out. But if you're running a shop and you need income, you really have to look at these things. If you don't have the work there and you're paying somebody on top of that to be there, you're going backwards. And we've talked about this before too, about banking your money when you're really slammed, so that it's going to get you through those humps of where it's dried up. But I once had one person, I can't remember if it was on TV or they said if you're not working, make that your job to find work. Easy peasy. And that's the same way I look at it with my role. If we don't have work in the shop, then I need to be spending that time finding work. So, I mean, usually I shut my cell phone off at 3 o'clock. I'll be honest with you. And I won't get on a computer. But for the last month, 5 o'clock, I'm texting people that are looking to have work done on their machines, through Facebook Messenger, because I need to fill that slots to get them brought in. Once I get enough so that it's filled the slots, then I'll back off. You don't want to have too much work, because if you have too much work, people are waiting too long, and it's going to start having issues. And the other thing you have to take into consideration and be careful of is when somebody drops it off during the winter months to get it done, you need to stay in constant contact, because more than once we've had it where they changed their mind after we had a half tore down and said we can't afford it at this time. So what do you do then? You put it back together the best you can and charge them for the time you got into it. That's all you can do. So you got Facebook groups that you can join in your own local area. You can put it on Facebook Marketplace, and if you join the buy-sell groups, you can put it in their groups as long as you're locally, and they know you're locally. They usually don't have a problem with that. If you're spamming a group, yes, they're going to have problems, but we don't do that. I don't do that. I'd rather be subtle and let you think about it than try to push you into something and then have you later regret it. Just, even when I'm selling stuff, I always tell people, you don't have to make up your mind right now. Think about it. If it still feels like a good deal in the morning, buy it. If not, move on. I'm okay with that. I know that impulse buying, you have buyer's remorse, right? And the last thing I want is for one of our customers to have buyer's remorse. So I'm not the pushy salesman. If I've got something to sell, here it is. Try it out. See what you think. Think about it through the night. If you still think it's a good deal for you, it's a good fit, tomorrow, come on down and we'll get the deal done. But at least take a day to think about it. The pros and cons of buying this unit. I know some of you are going to say, well, that's costing you a sale. Could. But in the long run, it's going to give me more sales, because the people that commit are the ones that decide it's a good fit. And they're happy with the machine. The guys that buy instant and then 5 hours later get a hold of you and say, well, didn't realize there was this wrong with it, and it was all pointed out. I don't hide things. If there's something that I know that's physically wrong with the unit, I will tell them. But most of the time, if I know there's something physically wrong with it, I fix it myself before I put it up for sale. Or if we find out during a test run to see if something's not, see if everything's working right, and it starts acting up, back in the shop it goes. to find out what the issue is. I will not sell somebody junk. And it depends on what you're doing, right? If you're running a full-fledged shop, Google business listing is a way to go too, because if somebody's looking in your local area for a small engine repair shop, if you have a Google listing with them, which costs you zero, it will come up, okay? And you got to keep it updated. Put a post in there once a week, whether it's a sale on oil or just anything to keep the account active. Because if you're not keeping it active, Google will deactivate it. It's not going to just sit there and take up your server space. If you're actively in business, then that's the way to go. Now, if you're doing it nights and weekends on the side, most times you're doing it off the table, right? Under the table. And having a Google listing and all this other stuff is not going to help you. It's going to be just strictly word of mouth and using the groups. The groups are fine. The other ways to do it, you need tax ID, you need, a shop area, you need a lot of stuff that gets expensive, all right? I already know that. And some of you guys are just supplementing your income. It's happened for a gazillion years and I don't look at it as a threat to me. I sell to a lot of smaller guys that are doing it just nights and weekends. I sell parts to them. So I make a few bucks on it, and we also offer our knowledge to them when they get stumped on something. And you're saying, well, then you're taking work out of your own mouth if you're telling somebody else how to do it. No, not necessarily. I try to help whoever I can help. And they may not be the one to help me, but I kind of like that idea of pay it forward. Of if you look to see what you can do in a positive way for people around you. And I think that what you put out comes back twofold. So if you're a pain in the ass, you're probably going to get it twofold back. It doesn't take any more energy to be nice to a customer or to somebody and I consider these smaller guys that are working nights and weekends customers because they're buying parts off us. It doesn't take that much to be nice. Actually, for me, it takes more energy for me to be pissed off than it does to be good-natured and enjoy their company. Grandfather used to say, and I know it wasn't his saying, that you can get more bees with sugar than you can with salt. And that is true. That I tell people, because I hear a lot of people telling me how stressed out they are and tired and this and that. And I tell them, you need to find out what fills your cup. Not drains it. What fills your body back up and rejuvenates it. Whether it's a day fishing like Ed and I. What's your passion? And that also goes for people. Don't deal with customers that drain your cup. Deal with customers that fill your cup, that appreciate you and want you around for years to come. So on that note, you guys have a great Wednesday, and we'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning for another episode of The Weekday for Thursday. Enjoy your Wednesday.